Happy Wine Wednesday, everyone. I'm again running the stream, at least until Kelly comes, because then I'm sure she will come on and have a lot to talk about. It is open chat today, so if you're new and you don't know what open chat means, it's just that we welcome all questions. We'll discuss random things, but yeah, whenever you have a question, just let us know in the comments. So, first, does anyone have anything to share?
Nothing new. I have the same seahorses. I still have 5 left in the one tank, and,
Okay.
the same one is still in the process of dying, but all the others are doing fine, so
Yeah.
so, yeah, nothing much changed there.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good for the most part.
Yeah.
YouTube's okay. Okay. Thank you, Ray. Just needed to make sure that I had done everything correctly because I set it up all by myself this week, and I needed to make sure everything was running how it is. So Ray just confirmed that.
I tried to get on the Facebook broadcasting of it, but somehow I either keep forgetting where it is, but I never can get on to check it and see if it's working.
Well, it probably is. We will hope that it's working properly.
Does it go on our
is.
group page? Because I don't see
it. Goes on the Seahorse Whispers Society, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's on a little bit of a different page. Anyways, my seahorse, Ray, do you have anything to update us on?
Not really.
No? Okay.
Not unless a certain fellow decides he wants to go ahead. There's no sense talking about him until he makes the decision.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. My seahorses currently, they're just doing fine, I guess. No fry still. I noticed a little bit of like that my water wasn't quite right because I noticed there was some algae appearing. So I did a really big water change today, and hopefully that'll make the seahorses more happy and more ready to make fry. I wanted to ask you guys, because the water quality, I can tell it's not bad, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. But if it's slightly going downhill, would you say that is, like, would they stop breeding for that reason?
I would say it'd be hard to tell what's downhill. Like, to me, the only thing bad really would be organics, which you can't measure anyway. I mean, I've had a lot of algae in my tank when my seahorses were breeding. So I don't think that algae in itself is a problem to me.
Yeah. And what about you, Ray? What would you say?
Sorry, say again. I was reading.
So I was just saying that my seahorses, that the water quality didn't seem to be quite right, considering I was getting more algae. And I was thinking, because I did a big water change today, and I was just thinking that maybe the water quality has something to do with their breeding habits.
I doubt it.
No?
No.
Yeah, like I said, mine were breeding in a swamp, basically, when they were having fry. The conditions were probably worse then than they would be now. Because the tank wasn't that old yet. I had, live rock and stuff, so I had algae that I couldn't get out, growing out of the rock, and I had a lot of algae back then, and it didn't stop them. So, I mean, you can't measure for organics. I don't know if high organics are an issue for breeding. What do you think about that, Ray?
Well, when I first started, of course, I started with red-eye, but my tank conditions were pretty bad because I didn't know back then what was needed. And as a matter of fact, the hobby industry itself wasn't aware of things that we are aware of now, like things dissolved organics. Nobody ever talked about that back there in 2002, 2003. But I hadn't learned even some of the basics that I was to learn shortly after, and the Redi were producing like crazy. Now, mind you, I couldn't get them to grow up. I lost them all, and I even lost the first or one of the first pair of Seahorses. Never made it much longer than a year.
Okay.
And I know now that it was just because I didn't know enough about keeping things clean, not specifically dissolved organics, because you can do it not knowing about that. It's just that when you know about it and something starts going wrong, then you know enough to do something about the organics. Even though you can't measure them, you can do things that will lower organics and turn it around for the tank.
Okay.
But because they were producing before I knew enough to get my water quality proper, then I would say no. In your case,
No.
your water quality is better than by far than what I started with.
The swamp conditions
And
that Ray's seahorses were living in.
maybe it's the other extreme. Maybe it's too clean now for them.
Well, okay, but is that a possibility?
Don't know. I don't have an honest answer to
No.
that.
I wouldn't say that it's too clean though. Like I would definitely tend towards too dirty rather than too clean.
Okay, what kind of algae have you got?
It's like I don't know if you can see any of it, but it's like on the.
It's a hair algae.
Yeah, it's hair.
Green hair algae, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you've got a high organic level in there, feeding that hair algae.
Yeah. So that's why I did a water. Generally, I do water changes up to here. I did one like here, so yeah. I cleaned out quite a bunch of the tank. I'm also cleaning out more of the stuff.
Just to put things in perspective a little bit, I'd been reefing for a long time, and I started getting hair algae.
Yeah.
In a 90-gallon tank. Lots of rock, because rock was all my biological filter.
Yeah.
And in that particular tank, I kept on taking the rock out, scrubbing it, putting it back in. Damn stuff just kept on coming back again. And then, and I don't know on a timeline, this might have been a year, might have been a year and a half, maybe even longer. And I finally got ticked off and put two and two together. Well, this algae needs two things. It needs light and it needs fuel.
Light and fuel.
The fuel comes from the food. Okay, so I reassessed my feeding program with all the tanks and, well, only one tank to a tank I had, but with all the different fish that I had in there. And I know I didn't need a big situation for the corals. So I cut everything back to what I thought was as minimum as I could as far as putting any form of nutrients into the tank.
Yeah. So
and after a few months, I noticed the hair algae started going away. And by the time it was 5 or 6 months, the hair algae was all gone.
Yeah. See, the only thing is I'm finding it hard to create that balance when the seahorses are eating so much and then they're also leaving so much in the tank because I put it right in front of their face and they just watch it float by.
Yeah. They're messy.
Right? Yeah. So
yeah, no, I have problems with that too. Now
well, that's where the husbandry comes in. Your husbandry has to be tailored to your tank situations. And in your case, there's a lot that they're not eating. So it's a case of a minimum twice a week, you've got to clean that stuff out before the nutrients decay any more than possible.
Yeah,
Like they're going to decay. They start decaying as soon as you put it in.
Yeah, I'm
But,
cleaning twice a week, but I just found an easier way of like getting the water out and getting more water out and then taking it out and putting more water back in, so then it just, it works out better and it works out faster.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not as much as getting the water out. If like the better you can clean it and the more often you can clean it, the less often you have to change the water, or at least you can get away with smaller volumes of water in the change.
Yeah.
And it's something nobody can tell you just how much to do. It's because we can't measure that deal. You have to do a certain level and then see how it works out long term. And if it's not working out, then increase your husbandry practices more.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to that point where long term you're not having any more problems, you got to solve. But the thing is, it's not something that's going to come in a week, a month, or 6 months.
Yeah, at all. Well, yeah, I'll figure that out. It's not bad. Obviously, I did not let my tank get to the point where everything is covered in algae and it's awful. So it's okay. Another thing, so I have, for anyone who doesn't know, I got peppermint shrimp, I don't know, a month, 2 maybe ago, or maybe longer actually. I don't know. Anyways, for my aptasia problem, you guys were the ones who suggested them to me, and they worked really well. Like, I have not seen any more aptasia. They are a little bit of a menace when I'm trying to feed the rest of my tank. Because they are jumping everywhere. It's crazy. At the start, they were so shy and so nice, and I was like, wow, like, I don't even know if they're eating enough. And now
they're comfortable.
Yeah, now
it's like adding clownfish to Seahorse tank. They're so nice and lovey-dovey when you put them in there, and then a year or two down the road, all of a sudden you realize you got the Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, I honestly, when I started with seahorses, I really wanted to get clownfish as well, because it's kind of a staple in a saltwater tank, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that was shot down pretty quickly because I realized they're not good tank mates.
No.
I only put them in my main reef tank because the wife wanted them. But I would never put them in anything else because it's bad enough one tank, putting my hand in, getting bit all the time. Like they would drop.
Wait, they actually bite?
I've heard that from several people. Yeah, they'll bite you.
Oh.
They weren't like that when I first put them in. And the wife says, oh, they're so cute. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They were a menace.
I have heard that some may be gentler or nicer than others. Have you heard that?
They're probably like any fish.
It's like the human race.
Their personality.
Humans, you've got some that are really nice. You got some that start off nice, and as they get older, they turn bad. And you got some that are bad right from the start.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with animals, with fish. They have the same kind of things that go on in their situations.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt that there are people that have clownfish that never ever have trouble. And I have no doubt that there are people that only occasionally have them. But I know for sure there are people that have trouble with them all the time.
Yeah.
You literally have to get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I probably would never get them, even the gentlest of breeds, or if someone tells me that they're gentle, I don't think I would get them anyways, because you never know.
If you think it's bad just having a clownfish in a reef tank, put an anemone in there too.
Oh my god. And they're
once it homes in that anemone, boy, oh boy, anything to go, unless you've got a hell of a big tank, You don't dare stick your hand in,
Oh my god.
not
Yeah.
without having armor on.
See, I like seahorses because they like you can stick your hands in and they're not going to bite you, they're not going to sting you. They'll actually be super friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the difference with seahorses rather than like a lot of
Yeah,
fish.
I can't say I've ever been attacked by a seahorse.
I feel like they don't have many like attacking. Like, how do they even? I feel like they don't protect themselves.
Well, they'll attack each other. If you've ever seen two males go at it, I have, and yeah, they do. But
But like,
that seems to be the
I
only
just feel
time.
like they don't do enough because like maybe between themselves they're like aggressive to each other, but like it just
They
feels
will
like they're
snick
not
each
doing enough
other.
damage.
They snick
What?
each other. They snick each other. You
Oh,
know, they snick food. They do that to each other when they're mad.
I
Yeah,
have never seen that.
I've seen males do that. And then I laughed because you think, well, what damage is that going to do?
Yeah.
I don't think they can hurt each other, but
Yeah.
they do snick at each other or wrestle each other or, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They have
yeah,
they have
that's the thing with
they have their little squabbles, but they don't do any damage.
yeah. Well, that they're gentle. That's why you probably don't want to have them with any like aggressive or very territorial tank mates. Anyways, what I was saying about my peppermint shrimp is that they just gave, or at least one of them gave birth, and so I saw the shrimp, and you guys said that it might be it may be a good live food, but like those are so tiny, like I could barely see them. Are they supposed to be that small?
What's that? What
What's
kind of shrimp?
Yeah, my peppermint shrimp. They were so tiny. They were like brine shrimp. Like it was crazy. Like
the babies
yeah.
Oh, the
are?
babies will
Yeah.
be smaller than brine shrimp.
Oh, they're teeny.
See, because I thought because you guys told me they were
Mine
like
had baby
live food,
parts.
so
They are, yeah. Well, mine weren't when mine had babies, yeah, they were like tiny little things, and my seahorses wouldn't eat them.
They're not
But
interested
I
in
think seahorses that will eat live food will eat them.
the fry
Okay.
would go after them.
well, I don't have any fry. You can tell that to my
Oh,
seahorses.
but I'm saying fry will go after the napoli from the shrimp,
Baby
but
shrimp.
they're so small that when a seahorse is past juvenile stage, they're not going to have any interest. It's just like if you put newborn Artemia in there, they're not going to have an interest there either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I just kind of left them in my tank. I think my goby was eating them, but he can only eat so many. I just
Possibly.
found that
And they don't last long either. They die pretty fast.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Now-
get caught up in the filters.
yeah, they just they disappear and then, well, not my problem anymore.
That's another reason you clean out the filters at least twice a week.
So my shrimp, all my shrimp are going into my filter. No, that's a little gruesome.
Actually, twice a week probably won't take care of the shrimp because they're so small, they disintegrate fast.
Yeah, there weren't too many of them though, so unless my goby ate more that I didn't see, but there weren't too many of them. Maybe.
Yeah, gobies will go after.
Yeah, I mean, good. My goby can have some live food. I just found that like they were so small that there was no chance of my seahorses even like looking at them. I was just surprised that you guys sorry, I think you said this already, but did your seahorses go after them? Either of you?
No, mine didn't. Kelly, I think
Oh.
she said that hers did, I believe. I've heard of people's seahorses eating them, but my seahorses didn't really like any live food after they grew up.
Oh,
When they were juveniles, they did, but they were half-hearted about it once they became adults. Like, they would eat it, but it had to get into a dish first or,
you
craziness,
were
yeah. They
offering
were
them the good
my
stuff, and they didn't want it.
right, too much work, yeah. I had a couple of my girls were really into hunting.
Oh, okay.
The mom of my babies, Candy, she liked to hunt the live food.
Well, yeah, it just kind of
And
depends on their personality.
yeah, and Sadie did too, but they were both more active seahorses. It was funny with Dandy because he was interested in the live food, but I don't know that it was that he didn't want to eat it or that he couldn't catch it because of his problems with his motor skills. Because what he did with the live food was herd them like cattle, which was really funny to watch. He'd herd them into one part of the tank
Oh,
and like watch them like he was their shepherd or something. And he was good at that, but he didn't really try to eat
and this
them.
is
And I was
Dandy, right?
wondering, yeah. And he's the one who's handicapped.
Oh, Dandy's
So
just
I
a
was
little
lucky
special.
he couldn't. Like maybe he wasn't fast enough but yeah, he was interested in them. He followed them around and he was able to herd them like he was a collie herding sheep or something. It was really funny.
Yeah. Well,
Mm.
yeah, I feel like Dandy's he's just a little different than
He's
the
a
other
lot
ones.
different. Yeah, he's a lot
I
different. He sure has his
Yeah,
own personality.
it just kind of depends on the seahorse you get. I think
Mhm.
you'll see different traits in all of them. Um, oh, another thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was, so have you guys noticed a difference? Okay, first of all, what brand of food do you feed your seahorses?
Hikari.
Hikari.
Hikari. Okay, number one, are there any like benefits, would you say, in terms of like nutritional value between them? Or is it just that's one you guys prefer?
About the only one that has more nutrition is, oh, damn, now the name just went out. There's a Canadian shrimp, and they're bigger than the Hikari mysids,
Mhm.
or mysis, but they are flash frozen after enrichment.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
damn it,
The only other brand I know is PE.
that's it.
Bison,
Pea
is
mysis,
that uh-huh.
yeah. Now, it has more enrichment,
There's
but depending on your seahorses, they may not eat it. A lot of my seahorses wouldn't eat anything larger than the Hikari mysis, and then there was others that would eat ocean krill and PE mysis, not interested in the smaller stuff.
yeah.
Unusually weird was my abdominalis, the biggest ones, didn't want anything but the standard mysis or mysis shrimp. They wouldn't touch the krill. They wouldn't touch the PE mysis.
Uh-huh.
There's one other brand that
Hi.
I've seen in stores. I forget what it is though. Um Anyways, it doesn't really matter. It's another brand.
Two here.
Pardon?
I haven't seen the other one. I only have those two here, and the reason I've stuck to Hikari is mainly because it was recommended to me by Dan Underwood. He thought it was better for some reason. And then also the here is only sold at Petco and PetSmart, and they have it in a refrigerator that customers can help themselves to. Whereas at my local fish store, they keep the Hikari in a stand-up freezer behind the counter, so people aren't able to go in and out of it So I trust more that it's not getting defrosted. It's being handled properly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So I've noticed that. Hold on, I'm getting like a echo. Give me a second. I'm going to leave and rejoin. You guys talk
It
amongst
might be
yourselves.
Kelly because the echo just showed up when she did.
Yeah,
So
it just started when
Yeah.
Kelly joined.
Here, I'm gonna mute Kelly. There. Is that better?
See?
Oh yes, it is
yeah.
better. It's just Kelly.
Sorry, Kelly.
um.
Saves
Anyways,
you
so
from coming back in anyway.
pardon.
Saves you from getting out and coming back in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I'm just a little worried what's going to happen when Kelly actually comes back, but
Well, she'll
okay,
let
we'll
you
figure it out
know, or
then.
she'll show up or say something in chat, and then you can turn her back on.
Yeah. Well, no, she can also do it herself because she's also. Oh, is she back?
Kelly's here.
Is she just.
There you go. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
What was the problem? I'm so sorry, guys.
No,
When
it's
you
just that
came
there's
on,
an
we
echo.
started echoing. Yeah.
Am I still?
Not as much. A
But
little
the
bit.
thing is, everybody gets on the echoing when you're unmuted.
No, here you go. Okay. Is this better now?
Yeah.
Say something, Sophie.
Do I sound better now? Do I sound
No,
less
wait,
echoey?
Kelly. It's not. You. It's like us echoing
Okay.
through. No, it's okay now. It's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's not echoing.
So
I know the trick. All right, go on. I have no idea what we're talking about tonight. So update
We're
me.
talking-
Here I am.
Okay, we don't either.
Yeah,
Oh,
we've heard about a bunch
yeah,
of stuff. Right now, it's food.
Okay.
We don't really have much to talk about. No one has any updates really. And for now, we're just talking about brands of food because I've noticed. So with my foods, there's another brand, but I forget what it is. I don't know if it's
San
sold
Francisco
everywhere.
Bay?
Maybe.
Yeah, that is one. Yeah.
Yep. That's
Yeah, I've
that's
just
a big one you
noticed-
see in pet stores.
Okay, so maybe it's that one. I've just noticed I don't like it because the shrimp are really tiny.
And
Has anyone else?
they're shaved up. Yep.
Yeah, you've had this problem too?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I just noticed that the Hikari ones are they're actually like full shrimp, and my Seahorses, because they're actually like blocks of like full shrimp, I can use the whole thing, right? It's not. And there was another thing. So my mom went to the store and she bought 2 types of mysis shrimp. The regular saltwater ones and then ones grown in freshwater. Now, if I don't use the freshwater ones, we can give them to other fish. But I was wondering what your thoughts were on the freshwater ones. Like, are
Okay,
they
wait.
good?
Before we go into freshwater, because I know Ray has tons of things to say, and so do I, about the freshwater mysis. But backing up to the different brands and such, we have had multiple conversations about this. You're not crazy. It's absolutely correct. And we've talked also about the fact that it depends on the season. So sometimes even your best brand, the shrimp will seem smaller because they probably are because of the season, right? But in my experience, PE mysis is always the biggest, and I'm not going to say the best because my seahorses preferred Hikari. Every seahorse I've had has preferred Hikari over PE mysis. But PE mysis has big. Look, I'm going to turn my camera on. Guys, I'm really tired. Been working too much. Ignore, me and just hear what I'm saying. But Hikari mice, PE mysis has like the biggest and best because they look like shrimp, right? And they're huge. And in my case, a lot of my seahorses, when they were adolescents, would have a hard time swallowing them. So they'd cough them up or part of them up or whatever. But they are, the biggest, let's say the biggest. And then you go to Hikari and you've got smaller mysids, but they are saltwater, and the seahorses, I've just never had a problem. The only problem that I've had is, again, seasons, right?
Yeah.
Because when it's not in season, you'll get a lot of, seems like riffraff.
You
You know, like,
notice that winter, yeah, the quality goes down. They're tiny. Like my seahorses will look at them and they'll be like,
what's that?
okay, here. And now
So,
my seahorses are years old, so they're like, up, here we go again.
right.
The first time that happened when they were young, they didn't want to eat them at first because they were waiting for the big ones. They're like,
right.
What's this?
Right,
So-
exactly. And the thing is that they'll be broken into pieces, and it won't be like full shrimps. I used to, and it does depend on the species of seahorses you're keeping. Erectus, as Holly was describing, might be like, what's this, Mom? But if that's what there is for dinner, they're gonna eat it. Likely.
Yeah.
Whereas I kept Barbori, Barbari, however you want to pronounce it, and I know Ray says that his were not picky. Mine were extremely picky. They would only eat mysids with eyeballs. And I'm talking about the frozen, you know, in a package ones, but they had to still have their eyeballs, or my seahorses would literally be like, you know,
that ain't right.
Nope.
That ain't right.
That ain't food. That ain't my thing. And so, you know, it does depend. If you have a rectus that'll eat anything, you can still make it work. It's good, but it does. You know, I'm just pointing out the fact that the season matters. The brand definitely matters. And then you get into things like San Francisco Bay, which is a quality company. You know, nothing wrong with it, but they're more for, like, most of their foods are like blends. So when I've gotten desperate because my local stores haven't had mysis or mysids or whatever, I've gotten some of their blends. And the seahorses won't eat anything else in there. Don't do that. It's a bad idea. It just pollutes the hell out of your tank. But I'm just saying, like, there's mysids in it, but it's not their focus. So even when they do packs of mysids, it's not their focus. So they're just, it's a food, it's good. They're more towards saltwater tanks where you're feeding multiple animals and, you know, coral and etc. versus seahorses who are, you know, more specific, want what they want, you know. Go, Ray.
Getting back to what she had asked about was nutrition of freshwater mysis.
Yes, he was dying to go there. All right, go, Ray.
mysis come from fresh water. They are enriched and then flash frozen. Hikari mysis come from brackish water, and a few other brands also come from brackish, but there are other brands that come from fresh water and are not enriched. So you have to be sure. If you're going to get something that isn't Hikari, you got to make sure. Well,
they are Hikari, though, I think. Like, I'm pretty sure they are. But they're raised in, like, BC.
No. I know what she's talking about. Hang on. So there's Hikari did. I don't know if Hikari did it. Well, obviously Hikari did it. But I know exactly what you're talking about because I've sent my daughters to go get me Hikari mysids, and they'll come back with this like jumbo shrimp that's not the same at all.
No.
So I think they've. What?
No, mine are still, like, they're the exact same packaging and, like, the exact same brand and everything, except that they're raised in BC in freshwater.
Why?
Oh.
And this is
I don't
Hikari?
know. I think so. Hold on. Let me go take a picture.
It must be a new thing they're
please
trying.
do, because why would you do that? That doesn't even make
sense.
Yeah.
The one thing I have used San Francisco Bay for that it worked well for was when I began weaning the fry onto
SFs are smaller.
onto dead food, I'll say.
Yes.
I would mix the baby brine shrimps and brine shrimps from the San Francisco Bay frozen with their live food to trick them into trying the frozen food, and it worked pretty well for that.
Yes,
Then they're
absolutely
like,
agree.
oh, this is food too. And then from there, it was a little easier to transition to the mysis.
And to be real, we want seahorses to eat what we feed them, right? Like it would be amazing. I hope someday somebody figures out how to get them to eat a pellet. I mean, I know that wouldn't work. Pellet has to be, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying flake
But if they
food or
would, how
whatever.
easy would that be?
Oh man, it'd make it so much easier.
Right.
And you could do the feeders when you're on vacation, and you could do so many things if they weren't requiring this specific enriched,
Yeah.
from saltwater mysids.
I don't
Yeah.
think they'll ever get them on pellets because when they sneak in some food, it has to be relatively soft for
Yep.
their method of eating. And
No
they
chompers.
masticate it. Well, if you give them any pellets, there's no way that they have the power there to masticate that pellet.
Sure. Well, and even if they could, they're probably not sucking up their nutrition. Like you
It
pointed
wouldn't
out
be
before,
right.
they're going to pass it, and it's still going to be, they haven't gotten what they need from the food. So totally
Yeah.
agree. All right, go ahead, Soph. Hey, and real quick, I just want to say for the record, is Sophie not doing an amazing job, you guys? I
She's
need
doing
everybody
great.
to, give her a round of applause.
We talked
Absolutely.
about that last week after the show.
Yes, and everyone in the comments, make sure you're praising Sophie, because last week I literally won't even tell you. I wasn't here, and bottom line is I was late this week, but Sophie managed to get it on track and get it going. I appreciate you so much. I know the community does too, Sophie. I just wanted to say thank you. All right, go ahead.
Thank you. So I have this is what they look like.
Wait. What's that say?
Is that the freshwater one?
Yeah, this is the freshwater. So
Is
you
it
can
enriched?
see, oh well, there's the Hikari logo.
Okay,
And it
spell
says,
the name.
What?
Spell the name. I can't read it backwards. The top
It
word.
shows it backwards.
Okanagan Lake. It's a lake.
Okay. Okanagan Lake, and it says mysis or mysids?
Mysis.
Huh.
But the thing is, if it
Okanagan
doesn't
Lake
say that
mysis.
it's enriched like PE does,
It
then
does. It
it's
says
not good for the
naturally.
seahorses.
It says, so free from harmful parasites, unwanted bacteria, and foul odor, naturally gut-loaded with planktonic algae, excellent source of omega fatty acids, high natural oil content, offers extreme palatability,
Oh my goodness. Go ahead.
highly
Keep going.
desirable protein source.
But we
Okay,
don't know
so-
about the fatty acids. See,
I'm
the algae source that it's talking about, if it's not one that contains DHA, then it's no good for us.
I'm
Okay,
going to
let me
say
just-
absolute no-go for seahorses, and here's why. I just did a quick Google search, and what it says, no offense, you Canadians, but it says Canada basically put these shrimp. Okay, let me just read it so I don't try to paraphrase. Oregon Lake mysis refers to mysis
Whoa, what lake is it?
Okanagan.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I said it wrong. Okanagan Lake mysis refers to Mysis relicta, a small crustacean introduced into the lake in Canada in 1966 to provide food for the salmon. Sorry, kokanee, Kokanee, salmon. All right. However, the shrimp instead became an invasive species, outcompeting salmon fry for zooplankton and significantly impacting the lake's food web. Now, the removal of mysis is a crucial part of the Okanagan Lake Action Plan to help the population of salmon recover. So they're pulling these shrimp out and trying to sell them to us. Bottom line. Canadian Ministry
Okay, but like
of
maybe they're
Environment.
also like
No.
maybe they're nutritious shrimp. You know.
I'm thinking no, but
Well,
let's look.
they probably could be for other fish, but I think, like Ray says, I think it's not the right nutrition for seahorses, probably. It
We
says.
have
Okay,
to
no.
have
Wait, hold on.
DHA. Like
All right, it
the
says.
shrimp themselves always have protein. Doesn't matter whether they're freshwater or saltwater or brackish.
Well, actually,
They-
that look, I just looked it up. It says Okanagan lake mysis are highly nutritious, providing high quality protein, amino acids, essential omega-3 and omega-6, fatty acids like EPA and DHA. I mean, they can claim that. Obviously, we don't have proof, but that's
Yeah.
interesting. They
I
are
don't know
also
of
naturally
organisms.
gut loaded with phytoplankton and zooplankton, and yeah. Go ahead, Ray. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know of organisms that are freshwater
Right.
and producing DHA. The EPA, yeah, they all produce that. But then again, seahorses, if they were like people can take EPA and convert it to DHA. That's what a human race can, and a lot of animals, a lot of fish can. Seahorses can't.
But it says that it does have DHA in it. I don't know.
Yeah, but they can say that.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to use it up, use it in between.
Agree.
Say use one of those and three feedings of the regular Hikari, and then another one, and then three. That way,
I mean, I can also feed them to. We have like a big 60-gallon freshwater tank.
Right.
I mean, so I can also feed them to those because I'm sure they'd eat them. They will eat anything you put in there. But
I agree with Ray. Don't make it their main diet. I just
yeah,
feel
I won't.
like there's not enough information, and I think all these brands say DHA, and it's not really true.
Yeah.
by the
All right,
way,
well,
when we were once talking about how long you can keep the frozen mysis in a freezer and that, and mainly, I think in stores it gets into problems because hasn't been handled properly, or when it's being shipped, it hasn't been maintained at the proper temperature and so on. But it's been a couple of years now since I've had seahorses. I have a flat pack, a 1 pound flat pack of Hikari mysis down there in my freezer. It's at -20, and it looks the same as when I bought them.
Yeah, but doesn't it degrade? I mean, like,
Well,
would it?
it does if it gets warmer than that. But the thing is, when the degradation happens, it goes through color changes too.
yeah,
And this
I
is
agree.
not going through color changes.
I do agree because I've definitely, went to go buy mysis and it's freaking brown because they let it thaw and then refroze it.
Yeah.
So obviously you're taking care of it. But I just feel like, I don't know. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe you're right. Maybe if you have a freezer that has adequate temps and you buy quality food that is, however it's prepared, it's good.
Yeah.
And then you make sure it stays frozen.
Well, -20 is
Maybe
the highest
it is
I've ever
good for a
get,
really long
but,
time.
the freezer, if I haven't had to open it for a while, it'll get down to -24, -25. But the highest I've ever seen it is -20.
Yeah, so it's staying truly frozen. I don't think there's any research. I don't know.
I think too many
I would feel
people
better
maybe.
about I would feel better about using food from your freezer that still looked good and smelled good and thawed well versus mine for sure, or some of these stores. So
Well, I think part of the story might lie in the fact that most people do not have a freezer.
right.
They have a freezer in the fridge.
Mhm.
Dan
And
always used to talk about this. Yes.
Usually, they're setting the fridge to their own conditions. They're not setting them to max.
Yep.
My two fridges, if you put something in the fridge in certain areas, it freezes.
Mine's like that too.
Mine
Much
too.
to Scott's chagrin.
No, I hate that though.
But the
Right.
thing is,
Fix that.
a lot of people don't like that, so they crank things up a little bit. So that means the freezer's not going to get as cold either. And I would say then that's
You're in
probably
trouble.
where all these packages that are not suitable are coming from a fridge.
Sure.
Maybe it's only minus 15, but an extra
But
couple of
wait,
degrees can make a difference.
Let's go back to the real problem, my problem, that happens in my fridge and it pisses me off. Oh my
What
God.
happened?
When
It's
my
poor
vegetables,
circulation. Scott says it's when
Yeah.
you have too much stuff in the refrigerator and you're blocking the vents where the air comes in. I do that.
You
I
put
know,
a
I hear
you put
you, and you're
a
right. You're absolutely right. But I'm telling you, I cleared out my fridge. I mean,
And
it's not overstocked, and still my vegetables and stuff. I'll go to get them, and they're frozen, and I'm done with them. Then,
They
like,
don't
you're
have-
not gonna thaw a vegetable.
Is your entire fridge, like for me, it's the top shelf and like the middle area of the top shelf, but like the rest of it is okay.
See, in my case, this sounds crazy, but I swear to you guys, it's the truth. It's my bottom compartment that's
My
for
crisper
veggies.
Yeah.
drawer
My
was
crisper's
getting
at the
frozen
bottom of
too.
mine.
I have salad in there that's
Yep.
freezing. I'm like,
Yep.
why is that happening?
Well, so
Mine
I
have-
need an answer.
My drawers and that have sliders that you can slide so that it increases the circulation in that compartment or decreases.
Mine does too. It's for humidity though. So do you want more or less humidity?
Well, they say it's for humidity, but it's also going to make a difference temperature wise.
But so which
should she
way
go up
do
or
we
down?
need to go then? Like, is
No.
it more humid or less humid would make it not freeze? Like which?
To be honest with you, with my years of different fridges and so on, I don't think there is an ideal fridge. I don't think there is much concern about not having little pockets that are problematic
Right.
because it's going to cost them too much to solve that problem. So they let you live with it.
Right, but Ray, for the bottom line, if your stuff is freezing and you can control it, I would assume you want more humidity.
No,
to
what most people do is they crank the temperature thing so that the temperature goes up overall.
Well, no, she'd want it to
But
go
what
down.
about the slider on the drawer though? You said
Yeah.
that plays into it.
That-
So
that-
which way is best?
That only does minor, and some of my drawers in the upper fridge here, the upstairs fridge, I can move those things and it doesn't seem to make a damn difference. The downstairs fridge, I move them and it does make a difference.
Okay, well, so in Holly's case, just for Holly, just real quick, it's freezing in this compartment. Her only choice is to turn up humidity or turn it down. I think she needs to turn
change
it
the
up.
temperature too.
But
Well,
I mean,
which way is
just
it on
that
the
case,
drawer?
would you not turn the humidity up?
No,
So turn it down then.
I would say you're not going to stop the freezing by that humidity.
So buy a new fridge. Okay.
No, because I have the best type of what the hell do you call them?
Well, mine only just started doing that in the bottom drawer. So I did accidentally slide the thing. So I'm thinking that must have something to do with that. So
And Sophie's like, gosh darn it, we were talking about seahorses.
right.
And then
No,
here
I
came
just think
Kelly,
that it's-
and now we're talking about freezers.
I think it's just
God.
super funny that if someone were to join right now,
They
we're
were-
a Seahorse channel,
But guys, we're still talking seahorses because keeping their food frozen is really important, just like our salads. All
so
right.
you should just put them in like Kelly's vegetable drawer.
The upstairs fridge here is Amana. And it's one that those humidity sliders don't do dick all.
Mhm.
My downstairs fridge is a cheapie, and I don't remember the name, but it was just a cheapie. And when I move the humidity sliders on it, it does work. So it doesn't
So
necessarily.
which way do you move it though if you want a drawer to unfreeze?
Well, you're not going to stop it freezing just by moving the humidity.
I know,
humidity.
Ray, but just answer the damn question. Which way?
To do what?
To
To
help
make
the
it
drawer
freeze
unfreeze.
less or to make it better? Yeah.
Yes.
It's not going to make it freeze less or more.
Then what's the point of the slider?
Because when you've got certain vegetables in there, for instance, if you're keeping some apples in there for a long time, if you don't keep the humidity up in there, those apples will start to wrinkle because
Okay.
Why
they
don't
dry
keep
out.
fruit in mine? So let's say all I have in mine is lettuce and tomatoes. So which way should I go? More humid or less humid?
I would say just stay middle of the road on that because they're
Okay.
not something that's going to be in there long enough to dry out. If you've got something like carrots in there, that's going to dry out slower than what apples are. But if you got apples or certain other fruits that tend to dry out on a faster scale, then you want the humidity up as much as possible.
So fruit wants it humid and vegetables want it
Well, it
dry.
Because they
depends on
need
the fruit.
water in the air. That kind of makes sense.
If you got
That kind of
grapes
makes
there,
sense.
the grapes aren't going to be in there long enough, so it won't matter what level you've got it at. That
Gotcha.
humidity thing's only going to make a difference, in my opinion, for something that you're going to have in there for a longer period of time. Say you buy a bag of apples, but you're not into eating them on a large scale, so you're going to have that bag for a couple months, then put your humidity up at the high end of the scale.
So am I a crazy person? I keep my apples on the counter.
Me too.
Me too.
I don't put any fruit in the refrigerator.
Well,
I
I don't like
but
I
I'll
don't
put 'em
like
on the-
eating room temperature fruit except for bananas.
Oh, I got
My-
bad teeth, man.
My stairs.
Cold, I can't do cold.
Well,
Okay,
All right, we
but
gotta
what
get
I'm
back to seahorses,
confused.
y'all. This has gotten way off. I'm sorry, Sophie. I'm sorry. I'm talking about my teeth.
Where would you
my
put your
cold.
seahorses? In the crisper or in the meat drawer?
No, we don't do that to seahorses at all, y'all. Don't listen to Holly. She's crazy. All right. No, but
Sophie,
yeah.
if you want to try this stuff that I have, you can take a look at it. It's never been opened, but if you want to take a look and
Wait, what are we
possibly
talking
use it,
about?
His mysis he's got in the freezer, the old
Oh.
mysis.
Yeah. That's
I
interesting.
mean, I would trust that it's okay if you
I
say
would
that it's
too.
okay. I'm just a little bit wary of feeding them food that's that old.
How old is it?
couple
How
years
old did you
old.
say
Since
it was,
he
Ray?
had his seahorses, 10
Oh,
10
okay, it's a couple of years old.
or
Yeah, it's a couple years old. Since
A
my
couple.
All
last
right,
barber
well, I'll take
died.
it if you don't. I'll take it if you don't want it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, so
Look
if
at it and
it's still,
compare it with a new pack.
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
look
yeah.
at it and see what you
What?
think.
Sorry, guys, hang on.
Yeah.
No. So if I was presented with a big old pack of mysids, and it was the shrimp were white, and it didn't look degraded or frost burned or any of that stuff, and it didn't look brown because it had been thawed and then refrozen, like I would use it, just to be
All right.
honest. I mean, I would.
Well,
It's definitely never been thawed and then refrozen.
Right. You think about how long you can keep food that we eat in a really true freezer, right? So again, the difference is what Ray was describing. If you're talking about a freezer fridge where, the fridge is freezing our salads, and then the freezer, there's parts where stuff feels still mushy, then I don't trust that at all. And I've seen mysids, both go brown. Absolutely. Just being kept in my freezer. But I don't have a true freezer, like he's saying, that truly stays under the freezing temperature constantly. And that would, I believe, completely, then it would make it last longer and still be frozen and, you know, all the good stuff in it. Yeah, I would use it.
In
Yeah.
my experience, though, like a flat pack, I buy multiple ones, and so when I first started off, they are a certain color, and later on there is a slight darkening, but not, you know, in a space of a month or 2 months. But then these never get beyond that point.
Yep.
And
Right,
it's
right,
only
right.
very
They're
slight.
never perfectly white, but I'm talking about I've seen rotten mice and in my own freezer, guys. Like seriously. So I guess what I'm doing is agreeing with you, Ray, that it does depend on the freezer you're keeping and whether it's kept frozen for the entirety of its span, right? Because that's what makes the difference continually. And yeah, it's not going to be perfectly pristine white. None of it is, anyways. But I personally would trust it. And you know, if it smells good, it looks good, you know, usually they have telltale signs if there's something wrong. And I've seen food. I was desperate one time. You guys can all slap me on my hand here. I was desperate one time. Nothing was open. I didn't have any more food. I realized, oh my God, I'm out of my SIDS or out of my Hikari. And I went to my freezer and I found an old, like one of the like San Francisco Bay or something packages of mices. And I'm like, okay, well, they got to eat. I got to give them food. And it was very discolored. And I'll tell you, I rinsed it to heck, you know, and I was so careful. And I went to go to feed them. They wouldn't eat it.
They knew.
They would not
Yeah.
eat that food. I swear to God. I mean, everybody makes fun of me for saying I swear seahorses can smell. And I'm not saying they have noses that smell, but they have some
I think they
sense
do.
of
I'm pretty sure they do.
it's not good or it is good. And that was not good and they knew it, right? So yeah, we need to be careful as people and not give them bad stuff. But I just feel like if it looks good, smells good, don't taste it, please. Please don't taste it. But yeah, it's probably good. All right, I've rambled on long enough. What else? What did I miss? What are we talking about?
Earlier, yeah, I have a friend. We kind of started a little bit on this, but I have a friend who might be starting her very first saltwater tank of any kind. And I don't know
Gotcha.
if she even has freshwater tank experience at all. So she really knows nothing about saltwater tanks, but she keeps hermit crabs, like the land hermit crabs. And she saw that I have a hermit crab in the saltwater tank. And so she was asking me about saltwater ones. And I said, yeah, you know, they're pretty easy to take care of, really. They kind of take care of themselves. But she was wondering about keeping them in a small tank. And I I've never done much other than the seahorses, and my understanding is that smaller tanks are harder to keep the perimeters right. But I don't. I know
For
people
seahorses?
know for like anything for fish in general, and
I mean, that is
but I
true in
don't.
general. Yeah.
But I don't know. So I was thinking, like I said, her first saltwater tank, maybe we can get some recommendations on things for her to keep that would be easy and easy to take care of, maybe in a smaller tank. Just, you know, things that might be fascinating, like, you know, like she mentioned, a clownfish, maybe, or I know she likes the crabs, you know, maybe an easy coral. Cause I know people keep nano tanks, but I
Yep.
don't know
Yep.
much about that. So she might join us next week if she's able to. So in the meantime, I was thinking if
Okay.
people have suggestions for her or anything, how to get
So
into the saltwater
How
hobby
how big
simply
of a
and as
tank is
cheaply.
she thinking?
She's not because she doesn't know, but she's thinking small.
right. She wants small and she wants recommendations. So here's my thoughts. A, if we're going to do an episode like that, where we're focused on saltwater tanks, Sophie, we need to advertise in the saltwater groups, because when I do that, more people come because they want to talk saltwater, not necessarily seahorses. I'm not against doing that. Let's have a saltwater episode. Ray probably won't show up, but that's okay, you know. And for sure, I have some thoughts already, but maybe we can briefly discuss them and then, you know, save it all for the episode. Also, Sophie, don't you have some ideas and guests coming soon?
Yes, I
that we
do.
need to kind of schedule around.
I have a lot of people that I want.
You don't have to tell me now.
Well, I have a lot of people that I want. Some that I want to invite back. One new one that I'm hoping that he'll come. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys about that later, though.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards. But we do have ideas coming for sure. But let's give a brief answer, everybody, to Holly's question. So, Ray, you've kept saltwater tanks. Why do you, or would you suggest, back up, what would you suggest to someone who is wanting to keep a smaller tank, but wanting to do saltwater? What are your thoughts? What does that make you want to say right off the bat?
I've only kept one small one. That was a 20-gallon that I kept for the grandkids. And I can't even remember for sure what fish I had in it now. Just small fish. Nothing that got big. Had a substrate in it. Had some small corals that I would cut off corals in my main reef. Trying to think. Had a cleaner shrimp in it. No snails.
So why would you recommend or not recommend that to someone first starting out?
Well, I'm not sure that I would recommend it to anybody. I personally think that a smaller saltwater tank is harder to look after than a large one. Things change too fast in a small tank. It's like one of the reasons we want the volume for seahorses, because of the fast changing. Well, maybe if it changes fast on a different scale for a non-seahorse tank, but for just a tiny little reef tank, it's going to go through changes faster, negative or positive, than what a large, say a 90-gallon tank will go through. It's more forgiving for the same reasons that seahorse tank is. It's just that it's still not, the reef tank wouldn't be as sensitive as the seahorse tank, but it still can go south in a hurry when it's just small.
So the less water volume you have to work with, the more sensitive your tank is. So for a newcomer, having less water volume is more dangerous than having a larger water volume. Holly, what are your thoughts just overall on someone wanting to start a small reef tank?
Well, I think if you choose the right things, I think it's doable. I think it kind of depends on how hard the animals are to take care of and how sensitive they are to changes and things. Because, I mean, like, I do know, like Scott, for instance, while I was keeping my seahorse tank, he had his own pest tank. That was basically...
I remember.
It was like at max, it was 2 gallons with a little hang on back filter on it. And all that he did to take care of it was top off the water when he needed to. And
but to be fair,
like,
hang on,
food for them to eat.
To be fair,
now
though,
and then.
You're talking about creatures that can literally, you know, if you're talking about Aptasia, you're talking about creatures that can live in rock that's dried out.
Right.
They survive everything. Right. So that's not really
Yeah,
like
but
creating a reef
yeah,
tank.
but
And I'm
so
not, I
that's
mean,
what I'm
Scott's
saying.
amazing.
Like, if you were going to keep,
Yeah.
because he found those things fascinating. You know, to me, they were
Right, you could do
pests,
that.
but he
Yes.
thought they were cool. So, I mean, if you're gonna keep something like that, there's really not that much
Yeah,
to
if you
it.
want to keep Aptasia and feather dusters and no, I mean there's
But
nothing
yeah,
wrong with
but they're
that. There's
interesting.
nothing
They're
wrong with it.
interesting creatures.
Yes.
You know, so I
Yes.
think depending on what your thoughts are, what you really want to keep, I think it can be done, but it depends on what types of creatures you're going to have in it.
Well, and sorry, let's be real. I hit the wrong button. Let's be real.
I mean,
you can do anything you want.
we've kept fry in jars and
Yes,
fish bowls.
yes.
So to say you can't keep something in a
That's the
small
thing I was just gonna
space,
say.
it's hard, but it can be done.
Not only can it be done, but you got anybody watch, you can do whatever you want, right? Like I'm an advocate for trying to make sure we're only keeping captive bred species and only keeping, clean coral and stuff. But I'm just saying, you can do whatever you want. I know many people that messed up this hobby by setting up this amazing, fabulous 20-gallon reef tank with all this coral, or 20-gallon seahorse tank with all this MPS corals, and they're gone within 3 to 4 months. But their pictures are amazing, and if that's what you want to do, do it. But
I would say,
if you want to keep something,
I would say also, not only is like it harder, because my dad had the little like 4-gallon, I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
It crashed.
Right? They call them
it crashed. You guys saw that I had the corals in a box up here for a while, but we put them back. But I think also another thing to take into consideration is like what you want to put into it, because a problem he ran into was that he realized he couldn't put a lot of the stuff. He would look at the stuff in my tank and be like, "Oh, can I put this in?" And I'm like, "No, you can't put like a fish, like a goby, for example, in a small tank, because they need more space."
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So you have to also, I feel like, do some research beforehand in what you're like interested in and what like your goal is for putting into that tank, and then kind of base it off of that.
I love, Sophie, that you busted in with your comments. You're getting stronger and stronger. I'm so proud of you. She's my protege. I'm like, Sophie. But anyways, I agree with Holly that you can do anything you want, and if you want to keep like just coral, or my God, I had a 20-gallon macro tank. I had a 20-gallon macro tank that was amazing. I mean, it was just amazing. I just didn't have fish in it. Like I just fed the tank, but I didn't have fish that could have problems because
it's like a garden tank.
So yes. So you can do things like that. But I looked it up for a clownfish. A single clownfish, one, needs a 20-gallon tank.
Yeah. Which to me is still small.
And then,
when we think about it, because we're doing 50, 70, and up.
Right. My first reef tank was a 55. And I'll tell you, I made an amazing, beautiful, gorgeous, I still miss that tank, mixed reef with all sorts of fish. But I ran into, even with a 55-gallon, I want tangs. And they require much, like, the thing is with saltwater, yes, you can do whatever you want. And you can make mistakes and learn from them. And hopefully you don't hurt fish in the process, obviously, or coral. And taking advice from people giving it will help you. So what we're saying here is, if you're going to do small, you can't do much. You can still do beautiful. You can still do something cool if you're just trying to do saltwater. But if your ambition is to have a tank with, the big, beautiful fish, you got to go bigger, because everyone I know that we talk to is like, well, I started off here and then I had to add and then I had to add and then I had to upgrade
Right.
and that's fine. And that's fine. But it's easier to say, I'm going to listen to all these people and realize that I'm just going to go with a big tank and do it right from the beginning, you know, unless, like Holly said, what you want is small and just cute and beautiful because you can't. I mean, I could see an amazing macro tank with snails being awesome, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, watching the macros and what they do is
And I mean,
amazing.
if all she
But
wants
for
is crabs, if she just wants the hermit crab,
yeah,
I mean, I can see them
oh
living
yeah,
in a small tank and being okay.
absolutely, yes, I
Also,
agree.
just make sure if
As
she,
long as she doesn't want the
Mhm.
fish,
yeah, as long as she doesn't,
I
like
would
with
not.
crabs, yeah, just make sure she doesn't want like a whole ton of other stuff if she puts the crabs in, because I've run into so, like, they're so cute. I think they're a lot cuter than snails, right? Because they have some
Yeah,
personality.
yeah.
But I have, I know you're an all snail person, Kelly, but they're more like, I don't know, they're more active, and you can see their little like eyes, and they,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
they do things. It's just that they cause, it kind of depends on the like breed that you get of them.
Mhm.
Because I have one that's different than the others, and it's a lot worse than the others. But I have run into quite a few problems with them, like with the other things in my tank.
So they're hurting fish and stuff,
Well,
or
sometimes they climb
trampling
onto,
coral.
yeah, I've told you about the seahorses, that sometimes they grab onto the seahorses.
Mhm.
That hasn't been happening
Yeah.
a lot lately because it's just been generally around feeding, so I just kind of put them on the opposite side of the tank. They also climb like all over my corals, all over that stuff, and yeah, they don't love that. Um,
That reminds me,
Go
Sophie,
snails!
I had
Snails
when
don't
I
hurt
told you,
them.
I had a little bit of coral, I was trying to do some little bits of easy coral. I kept trying to put them on top of my rock reef, and the crabs would throw them off
mhm.
and dump them
Yes.
upside down, and I'd find them, like,
Yep.
upside down in the rocks, and yeah.
Yep.
Also,
Yep.
Kelly,
Crabs are so.
I have tried to go to snails, but then my one hermit crab, that is, it's the red one, not the blue ones. The red one tried to kill them. So then when I got, because when I got
Yes.
everything for my dad's tank, it came with 2 snails. One of them was already dead, so yeah. And the other one managed to escape from the basket. And the only reason he has survived is because he hides under the sand during the day, and during the nights he's only on the glass, so my hermit crab never gets to him. But yeah, so if you want snails, do not pair them with hermit crabs.
I agree. I agree. That's why it was all snails. I mean, and snails are cool too.
Yeah, but they're
Don't
not
let them
as
fool
cool.
you. You know.
They don't have personality.
So now we're gonna have to do a poll. Team snail,
Well, I'm
team
with
crab,
Sophie, I
right?
prefer the
Because
crabs.
Like,
But I know what you mean, that I had, well, the crab I have now is a blue leg crab, and those are the mellowest crabs that I've had. I was supposed to have all dwarf blue-legged crabs in the pack that I
me
got,
too.
but there was some different ones in there, and the ones that that were, they never became real problems, thankfully, but they had the potential, and those were the stripe-legged crabs. Sometimes they call them zebra-legged
I got the
crabs,
ones
but
that
yeah, they
were,
had black and white stripes, and they got big, and those were the ones that messed with my corals.
see,
Thankfully, they
hey,
never messed with the seahorses, though. I had them for years, and they always were timid with the seahorses. They wouldn't walk on it.
ladies,
They were
ladies,
careful,
all
but they
ladies
had the
out there,
potential.
ladies, here's the lesson to be learned. Men too, actually. You mess around with anything but snails, you get the bad crabs. Okay.
Okay, Kelly, I'm gonna run a poll on Instagram
Cut
and
me off.
Facebook.
All right.
And we will see. I'll run the
That's
polls on both social media and we'll see what the result is.
Look, Sophie's so innocent. She's like, I don't get it. No, okay. All right, go. Go, Sophie. Run the polls. I want you to, because I'm really curious how other people feel. Because crabs are amazing for a reef tank. I had them in my reef tank. But when seahorses, I did snails because I just did. And like, if I'm thinking about a smaller tank, yes. So, Holly, people can do whatever they want. You could do all crabs. Cool. But I wouldn't mix them with snails in a smaller tank because then you're talking territory.
Then they're food.
Right? Then they're food.
Snails
That's
and
right.
food.
Just like, like shrimp, like peppermint shrimp with seahorses. To be real, peppermint shrimp with seahorses. I remember being, online and being like, oh, my peppermint shrimp got rid of all my ectasia. And they're so amazing. And I remember Lucy coming in and being like, really? Because they're food in my tank. But she had a smaller tank and her seahorses were bigger and different species. And they just, so it does depend on whatnot, where, why.
Individuals are different. And like I said, my big crabs were never a problem with the seahorses. They were with decorations and things like the corals and stuff. They like to move stuff around, but they never messed with the seahorses, fortunately. And they got big. They had the potential. I mean, mine were like 2-inch. They were great big crabs when they grew up, but they started tiny like the blue-legged crab. So the seahorses were always bigger than them. So
but
maybe that had something to do with it.
You made a great point, Holly, that's the other thing. That's probably the other real reason that I don't care for crabs is because they suck. No, just kidding. Is because
they redecorate.
I decorate. I like to aquascape, and I usually use rock, right? So I'm usually doing a rock formation that nothing else bothers because I don't do sand sifters. I don't do sand. So again, saying it overall, it depends on what you're trying to do.
The crab looks at and says, this doesn't go here.
But like in my tanks, I don't have the sand. I have this beautiful rock, scape. And then I'm not putting crabs in that are going to mess it up, right? Because they will. Yeah. Whereas snails will just crawl along and eat the algae, and it's great.
Okay, this is cool. Crabs are, this doesn't belong here. Mom, why'd you put this rock here? It belongs over there.
Yep.
I like it here.
Yeah. Ray, do you have any thoughts on any of this? Crabs versus snails?
I already typed on there. Didn't you read it?
No crabs, no snails.
No crabs, no snails. In a seahorse tank or overall?
Even in my reef tanks.
You didn't use any?
Well, there was a period that I kept emerald crabs. But see, most of the time, I like the serpent starfish. I have a lot of, even in my fish only tanks, I put serpent starfish in there. I had a lot of tanks because the largest tank that I could get down my basement is 90 gallons. And so my favorite fish are tangs. And so I never had more than one tang to a tank. Well, because you like tangs, then the only way then to get around it is to have a lot of tanks. So I had a lot of tanks.
Right.
And I had a lot of tangs. And then
tangs and tangs. I get you.
Another 90 gallon that was strictly for butterfly fish. But the thing is, I would have these serpent stars. I didn't like the, what's the other?
Bristleworms?
Bristle starfish, not bristle worms.
No, the Sternia.
Brittle starfish. I didn't like them because they would latch onto my mandarins. Yep. But the serpent stars, they left the mandarins alone. But like I said, the only ones that I recall having were the emerald crabs. and I don't know why.
Interesting.
I had a couple of those briefly.
I
I
did
like
too
them.
because I had in my reef tanks, they were really good for bubble algae, green bubble algae. They could eat it and not pop it. So, because if you try to remove bubble algae from a reef tank, it pops, spores go everywhere, just like Aptasia, and then you've got it everywhere. So the emerald crab would go in and it could somehow eat it without getting the spores everywhere. And yeah, I'm all about cleanup crew and critters that help and fix things. Like I love peppermint shrimp and emerald crabs if you're in a reef tank. I did have an emerald crab that was just like the crabs you're talking about, though, Holly. He would pick up, I swear to God, this little shit. He would sit behind a coral and eyeballs going, and I'd be like, what are you? And then
What are
it'd
you
be
thinking about?
all of a sudden something was on the floor. Oh my God.
I took a cleaner shrimp
But-
out of one of my other tanks and put them in my Seahorse tank with the reed eye. The reed eye tore it apart. It was a
Really?
full-size cleaner shrimp.
Jeez. See, you never know. And with the cleaner shrimp, that's another thing that I remember everyone making a big deal about is if you have smaller seahorses, cleaner shrimp's a really bad idea because they go to try to clean them, but they're picking them apart, literally. And the seahorses don't like it, and it's a bad situation.
I think they're irritating to any seahorse, really, just their
Yeah.
behavior. Because
Yeah.
they're jumpy, they jump on them, and I
Pick
see
at
them
'em.
as being stressful to any
This
seahorse,
was a few
really.
decades
agree.
ago, and I was new to the hobby, and I didn't know much. And
You don't get to make mistakes, Ray. You're fired.
it's the way I learned.
Just kidding. So, Sophie, are you going to do the poll?
I will. I mean, I can post it right now if you want, but I was just going to do it tomorrow.
You should.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, tomorrow's fine.
No,
Tomorrow's
I can
fine.
do it
Whatever-
right now.
whatever works
Hold
for you.
on. Give me a sec.
Well, no. Actually, you're probably right. You should do it tomorrow because more people will be. I was going to say that earlier. A lot of times, guys, especially, with guests and such, if we have guests, we advertise, we have more viewers right at the moment. But you'd be amazed how many people watch these streams later. And it helps them. And, they learn from it or the guest gets seen. So we might not have, hundreds of viewers when we're live, but people watch these streams later and, we're still doing a good thing. And I just love seeing y'all and having this community. So that's that too. But I think we should do a poll. And since Sophie is now the social media marketing manager of the situation, she's going to do it at the right time.
Well,
but make sure that you answer the poll.
See,
And I got to show you, Sophie, how you can post it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever else at the same time. I got to show you how to do
all
it.
right.
But
Yeah, because I was gonna, because my account has a spot where it shows me the most active times of my followers. So I could schedule it
yes,
to post at that time, except you don't
Yes.
have enough views for me to be able to see those stats.
look at that, you guys, you suck. No, I'm just kidding.
So I gotta, yeah.
I have not been on social media. I used to be serious about it. I still am.
Kelly,
But I just don't
I
have the time.
answered some
I'm sorry.
messages from like 2021 that were never answered.
Oh God, did they respond back?
No, it was just kind of like I just sent them a generic message to okay guys, I shouldn't be saying generic. It was actually customized to every single person. No, it wasn't. But I sent a message and I was like, hey, like, because they had questions that needed to be answered then. They were like, my seahorse is dying and I don't know what to do.
I know.
Anyways, so then your auto response was just like, hey, we'll get back to you soon.
Oh God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. You set these things up and then
I sent a message and I was like, hey, I'm sorry, like it's been unmonitored, so let me know if there's anything I can help you with now. And most people just saw it and didn't answer. Fair enough.
What I'm hoping is that, whatever the case might be, I just hope that nobody like gave up on keeping seahorses, because that'd be terrible. And I don't think that's the case, because most of the time, people will ask in multiple places, and usually they're part of the groups, or, they whatever. I have tremendous guilt, guys, that I couldn't keep it up. That's why I've called Sophie on board, and she's helping me so that we can make sure that, none of these emergency situations are missed. But we always tell people to go to the groups, because at this point, there's no more forums, and you get people like Ray and Cheryl and Dan and Holly and me and now Sophie, on these groups, the same as just messaging Kelly, because Kelly is overwhelmed, busy, and crazy. So,
Yeah.
But now Sophie has access. So now we can all blame Sophie.
Okay, last week though,
I'm
I did have I had a question on social media and I did get it answered. So I'm not sure if the guy was
Good.
watching. I actually don't think he was watching, because I think we had one person watching, and that was Ray.
Right.
So I think I went back and
But
Well, we had two for a little while tonight.
yeah, we are at 2 right now.
Here's the thing.
Actually, right now we have
Here's
3
the thing.
watching.
Oh,
One is me,
There you go.
but there's 2
Here's
others.
the thing. We just like doing this, right? We just like getting together. So that's good enough for me. We could do this just to have fun. Period. Nobody ever watches. Fine. B, people do come and watch. Like Sophie, what I didn't show you Sunday, and I need to show you, is that people come and watch it later.
wow.
Which is crazy to me. I'd rather watch it live, but
I was looking at
whatever.
those statistics. They're not very high.
No, I've never said they were. I've never said they were. I'm just saying, like, 30, 40 people come and watch. It's kind of crazy to me that they watch later.
Yeah.
Is all I was saying.
Fair enough.
And
So
so
what we need is more.
Yeah.
we need
I'm not
people-
trying to say there's some great thing.
We
here.
need people on while we are talking here to get questions asked of it.
Or
if
else we're
people
gonna end
don't
up
talk
talking
back,
about our fridges.
We're kind of
Yes.
So here you go, guys. I accept all the criticism, not offended whatsoever, because guess what? I used to really try with this, and I haven't been able to lately. So now I'm passing the buck, right? I'm saying I can't keep up with this and my life. So I've taken on Sophie. Sophie's working hard to try to make things happen. I've given her total permissions, passwords. She has everything she needs to make this happen. So
You mean you give
Yeah.
up
Go
on
for
this
it.
instead
And
of giving up on your life?
No. I'm not giving up on either. I'm saying I can't give this the attention it deserves. I think that the community of Seahorse people truly, no jokes, I'm being dead faced, truly deserve someone dedicating time to make sure that we're on time every week, to make sure that we have guests, to make sure that, Sophie is in Canada. She can't, I could still go to the events. I got a little vacation time and I surely need to use it. But I'm just saying we need to work as a team to make this a thing again so that it can help people, because it never was a thing. I'm not claiming that we're some great thing, but we did have a bigger following when we were on, like I said, on time, had a plan, had guests, and I just literally love you guys so much, want to do this, but can't. I'm trying to do a store in real life and my kids and and so I'm pulling in Sophie to help, and Holly helps, and Ray helps every week, and we just need people that do watch later on, even the 30 or 40, tell us what would make it more enticing, what would make you come on the day, what could we do to gather more people? And I think Sophie's going to do that anyways, just by using social media. And that's the thing.
Mhm.
We used to have a bunch of people come because I was on social media, constantly posting, constantly doing polls,
Mhm.
constantly doing all that. I'm so sorry. Love you guys. I can't do it anymore. So Sophie's she's gonna grow this, and I'll still be here. I'm just the old lady in the wings, you know. Me and
But
Ray
the thing is, with
drinking our
you,
tea and
you
wine.
have abilities that I don't have, and that's be able to sit there and talk and keep a narrative going. I couldn't do it,
Mhm.
and
Because I can
Same
talk.
not
here.
everybody can do that.
Right.
But it's
Right.
it's something
Yeah.
that you have a knack for. And like I say,
Yeah.
I can't do it, and I don't think Holly
Mhm.
can do it. It's
No.
going to take Sophie a while to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
She'll do good. And I'll tell you, I remember when I first started Wine Wednesday. If you guys go back, these videos are still online. I never took them down. It's a lesson because it was absolutely horrible. Because I would go on by myself and then nobody would come and I would sit there and just ramble endlessly. And it was
I gotta see
horrid
that.
and awful. So the thing is, I appreciate you three and Cheryl when she would come and Dan, because
Mhm.
when we come every week, it's at least fun, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
if
Yeah.
nobody watches, we still have
Social
fun with
hours.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes you guys answer my questions if I'm having trouble with my seahorses, or we can have Holly, or we can see our new
Mhm.
decorations or whatever. Yes, I want us to absolutely be there for new seahorse keepers or anybody having a problem. And I appreciate Sophie so much for taking on the responsibility job or whatever you call it of helping me manage social media and the stream. But yeah, I mean, it could be worse. I promise. Go watch the first episodes. It could be so much worse. At least now we have fun and we
Yeah.
are a community and we talk with each other and we have the usuals. All right. So we're back to crabs? No. Okay.
No.
Anyways, do the poll about crabs versus snails, Sophie, because I really am curious, because I don't have a problem with crabs. I just don't keep them. I don't
They have
know.
more personalities.
I never have.
They do. They do. I've
They
learned that about
pinch.
my little crab. He's interested. Like he understands tank cleaning day. He knows to get the hell out of the way on that day. He'll like go to a corner and hide, or
So, do
he's
you
been
feel like,
trucked at a few times and gotten into the yucket, I call it. The bucket where you siphon water into. I call it the
yeah,
yucket.
yucket
He's
bucket?
he's
I like
he's
it.
been
I
sucked
like the
at, he's
yucket
been
bucket.
taken out, on a decoration and nearly forgotten. So now every time I look for him when I'm getting ready to clean, because
Yes.
some
Sure.
accidents, but
But I mean,
he's
do
a
you
smart
feel
little
like
guy.
they seriously do the same level of work as a snail in cleanup? I mean, like my
Probably not.
snails clean my glass. They can clean the seahorses without hurting them. They can clean coral, and it does. Let me rephrase that. I have a whole list. These are the
Mhm,
snails that will eat
mhm,
macros. These are the snails that will clean them. So you have to get the right snails.
mhm.
But I mean, like crabs, either eat
I
them or don't clean
haven't
them.
had a whole lot of snails, so I can't say, like, I've never had what they call the narcissus snail, the one with
Neurassius,
however
whatever.
you
Yeah.
say that, and those are the ones I hear are really cool, but I've never had one of them. I just had the little normal snails, and they didn't
But I'm
do much,
asking you for the
really.
crabs. For the crabs, though, do the crabs do an adequate job of cleaning up your tank?
The emerald crab really did clear off algae. That was something else. Other than that, I'd say neither my snails or the hermit crabs were that great at cleaning. They didn't take care of the
But I
tank
mean, I'm
any.
literally looking at this logically and thinking
I'm thinking the
a
crabs have
snail.
more personality. Neither one did much
I
for the
get it.
tank, I'd say.
I'm setting us up for the poll,
Mhm.
right? I'm setting us up for the argument for crabs is that they have more
Mhm.
personality. The argument for snails is they do more cleanup. They do. They clean your glass. They clean your macros. They clean your coral without hurting them. They clean your
Yeah, but
seahorses
No,
hermit
without
crabs
never
hurting them.
did.
redecorate.
I don't like redecoration. I mean, my decorations
Yeah,
are
my
no.
snails
But
were pretty boring. I didn't ever have any of the fancy snails with the seahorses. I had some plain old snails, and I have to tell you, they didn't really do much of anything.
really,
No, they were. I still have like limpets. Now and then I find limpets.
see, you can't even buy
And if
limpets
they're
though.
doing something other than just feeding themselves on whatever they find, I couldn't tell you
See, that's
what, because they
amazing.
just sit there. And my
It's so
snails did
funny.
not clean the glass. They would mostly be in the sand or in the rock, and the tank was dirty as ever. So
That's
I
so
wouldn't say
funny to
they
me.
helped with anything, but like I said, I didn't have the fancy kinds that I see people get.
No, nope, that's not it. It's that you didn't have enough.
I don't know. I
So,
had a
like,
heck of a lot of them,
how many?
probably
Well, I don't
100
know.
or so.
Let's let the poll decide. You
But
guys
they
tell
didn't live
us. Do
forever.
this.
Like they didn't live as long as the
Do this
crabs
in the.
either.
Do this in the poll, Sophie. Just say, what's your experience to all the people
Mhm.
that read the poll. Snails versus crabs for saltwater tank, seahorse tank, whatever. But I mean, yeah,
I
no.
think
I
I
my
remember what
snails
kind.
eat
I think they
everything.
were called Nerith snails.
Nerite?
Yeah, Nerith or
Okay.
something like that, or TE maybe. That's the
They're
that's the
not the
only kind I ever had in saltwater.
they're not the best, and they're the ones. They're actually the ones that you have to watch because they have something about time of day, and they'll crawl up the side of the tank, and they'll literally crawl out and die on your floor. So not the best snail, but still, I loved them.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
my
the
god, I love
kind
my
I had,
snails.
and I had tons of them. And then at about the few year period, they died out along with most of my crabs. I want to say about 3 years in or so. And then I had a few crabs that lasted years. Like my little crab is literally 7 years old now. And my two
Very
big
cool.
ones, the stripe legged guys, they lived to about 6 years.
So, did your crabs have trouble with peppermint shrimp?
No, I'm trying to think at what time.
Did you have them
I
together?
did briefly towards the end because I didn't have. I'm trying to think because I had
Like
peppermint
hermit
shrimp
crabs
often.
or emerald crabs?
I've had both, but I only had a couple emerald crabs, and those
No,
were
but Kelly, which ones are you referring to? Like hermit crabs and pepper?
I'm
hermit.
just asking. Because I've always said in all my
Mhm,
videos, do
mhm.
what you want, do whatever you want. But in my case, the seahorse tank that's the easiest and that works
Mhm,
is seahorses
mhm.
and snails, right? That's my thing. And, in macros. And just every time I ever tried like crabs or anything like that, something else would be a problem. So,
I
like, the crabs would go after peppermint shrimp or
I
whatever.
don't think
So
I
I'm
had that
curious.
problem. I had all these things like off and on, so I'm trying to remember who I had
Yeah, I
with
know.
who.
I get it.
But I know
Yep. Yep.
those crabs lasted many years, and I still have little crabs. So I know I had crabs with the peppermint shrimp too.
Wait, so your crabs had babies?
No. The crabs
Oh,
never
okay. I
did,
was
but
like,
I
that's so
no,
cool.
but I've
Okay.
had this.
Yeah.
I had this some the same crabs for many, many, many years because I
Gotcha.
never bought
Gotcha.
new ones. The
Gotcha.
peppermint shrimp, I had a series in the very beginning. I want to say I had one that
Mhm.
disappeared, and then I had three, and then I was down to two, and finally down to one that took a long period of time. But I would find them, a couple would go missing, and I'd find them in the filter sock. They'd get
Yeah,
my
you said that. I
overflow,
remember
and
that.
then I think the one I had a couple, I think 1 or 2, because I haven't had tons of them, but 1 or 2 disappeared altogether and were never found, and I have a feeling it's
Yeah.
because they got in the overflow box and probably never came out the other side.
Or your crabs ate them. Who
I don't
knows?
know. The
I'm
well,
kidding. I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm
you
kidding.
would think, the crabs would eat stuff like that, but it's weird because my crabs, they're like the seahorses. They're strange. They
Yeah.
only
Wait,
yeah.
Ray's got to go. Let's
Good
say
night,
bye,
Night.
Ray. We're going to
Have a
end
good
it anyways.
conversation.
Ray, good to
And
see
don't
you.
forget, afterwards, you wanted to talk about something, and I forgot what it is.
Okay, I'll make sure.
I'll try.
Have a good
I'll
night, Ray.
forget.
Bye, Ray.
Night.
Bye, Ray.
We're all geeks.
Also,
Yeah.
Kelly,
Right.
we're reaching 2 hours, so
Yeah, we got to go.
Oh, yeah.
Holly, finish your sentence.
Oh, so I was just saying my crabs are strange too. They're picky eaters. Like they'll eat the mysis shrimp and algae, but they're like the goby and anything else in my tank. They like what they like, and they're so they were never the greatest
Picky.
cleaners. Like like you were
mine will
asking
eat
me.
anything.
Like you were asking me.
So yeah, that's a good point, and then we're gonna end. But that's a good point. Is like when I'm trying to fix a tank
Mhm.
for Aptasia, and I'm going to use peppermint shrimp as the solution. I ask the store to make sure they don't eat
Uh-huh.
that day. Don't feed the peppermint shrimp that
Yeah.
I'm going to buy. And then I make sure there's not a bunch of food in the
Mhm.
tank because I want them hungry. I want them to attack the Aptasia. So if you have a tank where you've got spoiled
Mhm.
seahorses and food sources everywhere, whether it be mackerel,
Yeah.
whatever, then they're not going to
Now my
do as great a
peppermint
job of
shrimp
cleanup
did
because
take care of
because
Aptasia,
the
though.
peppermint shrimp and everything else will eat mice.
Yeah.
I mean,
They
they
ate
will.
with
So they're going to go
They
after
ate
the
with my
yummies
seahorses,
versus.
but I never had Aptasia once I had the peppermint shrimp.
I'm just saying, even snails are
Mhm.
everything is gonna go for the
Oh, yeah.
goodies. Do you want a cupcake or do you
Yeah.
want spinach salad?
Well,
I
and they're
mean,
all
depends on who you
interested in
are,
what are you
but
eating. I mean, I
right.
remember even Sadie being interested in people food. When she was a
Oh
juvenile,
yeah.
she'd see me eating like a chicken wing or a French fry or something, and she'd be right there. What have you got?
Yes, absolutely. They're
Yeah.
curious, but they can't
Yeah.
eat it all. For tonight, what I'm going to say, because we do have to go, Sophie's absolutely right. I have to be to
Yeah,
work in a
me
few
too.
hours.
And it's
So,
not busy season.
so what I would say though is Sophie's going to do a good job of getting us back on media, and she's going to do this poll because I'm really curious to hear what other people think. Snails or but I am still here, guys. I'm just having Sophie take over so that we can do more with this channel.
Mhm.
We're not helping enough people by just chatting every week. It's fun. I love it. I'm happy with it. I don't have a problem with it. But if we can help more people, we need to. And Sophie's going to do that. So go, Sophie, go. Anything else for tonight? Sophie running the show.
No, I don't have anything more.
All right, then what are we
All
going to
right,
say?
Happy Wine Wednesday, everyone. We will see you next week, and hopefully we'll have a special guest.
We might have, if we do have a special guest, Sophie, we're going to post about it ahead of time, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And we need Sophie to get an apple juice glass or something with a seahorse. I'll send her one. You got to cheers. We got to cheers. That's the channel thing.
All right.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. Good night, everyone. We'll see you next week. Glad to see everyone. Night. You end it.